Hello and welcome to today's webinar brought to you by Eagle Technology. We are going to be working with the Proteus CMMS system today, but more broadly we're going to be talking about maintenance and measurement. My name is Harry Kohal and I'm Vice President of Business Development for Eagle Technology, and my email is harryk@eaglecmms.com. Eagle Technology is a global provider of enterprise asset management and computerized maintenance management software since 1986. We are global in scope, and our software is translated into over 27 languages. We have clients that are using us in multiple countries throughout the world. Planned maintenance is less expensive than unplanned emergency repairs. And today, one of the things we're going to focus on in our webinar is some of the measurements that people have to put in place in order to manage facility and maintenance operations today. So one of the things that Welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to talk about why planned preventive maintenance is less expensive than unplanned emergency repairs, and we're also going to cover some statistics that relate to measurement and management of maintenance. One of the reasons that you would use a CMMS in today's world is to prevent or decrease downtime. And most organizations find that they don't have time. So 45% of respondents to a recent maintenance survey by Plant Engineering responded to the fact that they lack time and manpower to dedicate to maintenance. And yet, downtime is a major problem in these organizations. They also use a strategy many times of run to failure. But run to failure, while it has a low initial cost, can have an exponential cost relating to it. And the only time that companies are successful in using run to failure methodology is if they have data to prove that that strategy is the lowest cost approach. Other organizations talk about predictive maintenance, and again, until you have data captured, you don't know how to get to predictive maintenance. There's huge advantages, obviously, of reduced probability of failure and minimized overall frequency of downtime using predictive maintenance, but you need a CMMS in place to be able to move to predictive maintenance. So at this point in time, I'm going to switch to our live product demo and talk about how Proteus CMMS can assist you in capturing that information. First of all, one of the important things within a system is to be able to capture all of your assets. These are the things that need to be maintained in your organization. And those assets, whether you're an airport or a city or a hotel or a factory, need to be identified and located within a specific area in the organization. So Proteus allows you to organize based on site and buildings and floors and rooms and areas the specific equipment that you have to maintain. We also can categorize equipment by asset systems, tying together disparate pieces of equipment while allowing you to identify those assets uniformly. Another component to measure is parts. Whether you're an office building or a manufacturing organization, parts like light bulbs, belts, filters, components to repair machinery, etc., need to be stocked and available for your preventive and your break-fix work. We identify the employees that the organization has to do work. And again, these employees are located in a specific facility. So if I look at my airport here, for example, I have 3 employees associated with my airport, whereas if I go to my factory complex, I've got additional employees located there. So each facility can be uniquely segregated in our system, so global organizations can get individual plant or location information and yet have a roll-up from the corporate view to see what best practices are being put in place at each location and propagate them through the organization as appropriate. One of the biggest causes of downtime or unscheduled downtime in organizations is aging equipment and operating error. That constitutes almost 70% of the reason for failure in an organization. It's operation equipment. A lot of times, things that decrease unscheduled downtime is to upgrade the equipment, to improve operator training, to take advantage of preventative maintenance. And the people need to identify the key reasons for failure using the CMMS system like Proteus. We also can assign work to contractors. More and more work is being outsourced. Recent surveys indicate that up to 40 to 50% of the work in an organization is outsourced. This may be specialized work because you can't afford to keep a HVAC technician as an example, or a specific machine repair type person on staff. Or you have a vendor that is specific to that particular equipment. So Proteus allows you to assign and track specific contractors to work orders. We have an integrated purchasing module so that you can buy and keep track of the parts. There are standard reports within the system, and these are based on 30 years of experience in the maintenance business. They're the most common reports that people look for, but we can also put custom reports in place and have those stored for reuse on a regular basis. We have a service request module. The users don't have to log in to put requests in place, and the approval of a service request can be as simple as a single click. And that then becomes a work order. Or you can go in and edit the particular service request. Since we're not going to get this done by September 15th of 2015, as in our example here, I can go in and change the request date. I can change it to, let's say, the end of this month. I can assign a technician to it and then save it and turn it into a work order. So it becomes much simpler to take those requests from people. If I have a new requester that joins my organization, I can just put their name in. So now Sammy Snake is now a new requester. I put Sammy's email address in, save it, and I'm all set adding Sammy as a new requester in my system. The advantage of logging requesters is that they can get surveys, they can get emails notifying them of change of statuses, and they can be kept in the loop as to how their request is being addressed in the organization. Work orders, obviously, are the key of any maintenance system, and the work orders can be printed or they can go to mobile devices. One of the things that the recent survey from plant engineering identified is that clearly over 50% of the plant maintenance operations are not using mobile devices at the current time. And there's obvious improvements in efficiencies in using mobile devices. A simple efficiency improvement is getting good information on what was done to fix something that has broken. Technicians are not necessarily great typists, but using the voice-to-text capability of the mobile devices, they're able to capture their information. And while it may or may not be perfect grammar, it's better information to help the supervisor and manager than they're getting currently. The system uses ISO principles and allows a technician to complete a work order, and those completed work orders can be filtered and reviewed by the manager. And once they're reviewed, they can be closed with a simple review date, if it's required, and removed from the open work order list. So it gives the manager a chance to review, make sure that the parts that were supposed to be recorded were there, that the root cause failure reasons are in place, that any notes that should have been put on the work order are on the work order. And then based on the technician's completeness of the work order, there may be a cost center required. That work order can be closed by the manager. So using ISO principles, once a work order is closed in our system, it cannot be reopened. Thus the ability to complete versus complete and close. Preventive maintenance can be scheduled very easily, and we have lots of scheduling capabilities. So you create your work order master with the tasks and tools and parts that are required, and then you simply go and create a schedule for it. That schedule could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly, and you can pick the start date for that particular work order. You can do it every calendar day. You could do it every 7 days. You could do it every 365 days, okay? Or you could go weekly and do it every week, every 2 weeks, every 26 weeks, whatever you might decide. And you can pick specific days of the week. So for example, if I've got a contractor that comes in every 4 weeks on a Monday, I could schedule it that way. Or if that contractor came in monthly and came in on the first Monday of the month, I could decide to schedule that way. So there's lots of flexibility in the scheduling, and the same thing with yearly. I can pick every year, or those things that are done every 5 years. I can pick specific months, and I can pick specific days of the month that these activities get scheduled. Once they're scheduled and activated, I never have to worry about a work order coming out on time or not coming out. It will automatically trigger based on the date that I select, and then based on the recycle date, it will come out. I can also give my technician a period of time to finish it. So if it's an annual task, I might give them 7 to 10 days to complete that work order. Another key advantage of Eagle is that we have the ability to do runtime, and runtime can come from the building management system, where we integrate into the system by using BACnet, or we can use OPC onto the factory floor and trigger work orders based on runtime. We can also manually update runtime, so if you've got some company cars or trucks, and every Friday you take an odometer reading, based on that we can trigger work orders. There's a lot of flexibility in the system. Every field in the system can be changed in terms of its nomenclature. So if I want this not to be called an asset, because assets are an accounting thing, but I want this to be called equipment name, I can simply change it, and the reports and all the fields using that throughout the system will now have that heading. I can also change all the heading fields up here and so forth. So here's equipment number and equipment name now. Makes a lot more sense to a lot of people that are not in the accounting field. We have the capability to set up different work types. So I have no limit as to the work types that I can capture. I have no limit to the definition of priorities. Okay. Shifts can be defined in the system. I can identify different maintenance codes and root cause failure reasons. Okay, and all the fields are alphanumeric and have no limit in field size. So the system is very straightforward and allows for a lot of flexibility to be adapted to the type of business that you're in. Company information and the locations, that how I set up my particular factory complex, for example. I can have a site, I can have buildings, I can have areas and floors, and all of that is editable, and you can name or create anything that you need to create to replicate the facilities that you are in charge of. There's no limit as to the number of facilities. We work with companies, again, globally that have hundreds of facilities, hundreds of buildings, hundreds of technicians. So the system is extremely scalable. We also have users that have 1 or 2 users in the system. So scalability is another key feature of Eagle's products. Again, our languages are embedded, so on a global basis, based on rights and roles, I can identify a specific user and determine based on that specific user what language they're going to log in on. Okay? I have Canadian French users who log in and they put their tasks and all of their information in both Canadian, French, and English. And again, the fields being unlimited in length allow for those types of capabilities. We support Cyrillic and Chinese and all different languages. So the system, again, is designed for flexibility. It has security built into it down to the field level, and based on the rights and roles of the individuals, I can determine who can see what in the system. Tasks are the things that you put in place here, and tasks can be rather extensive in size, and they can be rich text, so I can emphasize something like this with a highlight, and based on a mobile device, that will show in full color for the user. Our mobile application simplifies the technician's role in that all of the information they need can be quickly obtained by either scanning an asset tag to create a work order, or if the work order is a preventive work order and it's assigned to them, it'll automatically appear on their device. We can have multiple people assigned to the same work order. We can have different skills assigned to the same work order. So again, based on our experience and our users' input, we have put the system in place to make life easy for the technician. Ultimately, this is about collecting data, and these setting options, identification of regions and non-working days and divisions, departments, different currencies, countries, and so forth, allow us to slice and dice information so that through a quality implementation of a CMMS, you can make better business decisions. We have escalation capabilities on work orders. We have routing capabilities. We can have notifications based on how long a work order has been open and things like that. And again, we are designed in a .NET environment, web services interface, so that we can interface to other products like SAP, or we have partners like MPDV out of Germany, where we interface to their MES system. We're designed to be best of breed in the maintenance and enterprise asset management product area, and so graphics and other capabilities come through our partner. There's key performance indicators that the system has in place, and things like work order backlog. You can see here that nobody closes anything in my test system. I can get a weekly overview of work. We've got a planner that the system allows you to look at, and you can look at by facility, by person, by work type, and things like that. So there's lots of capabilities, and again, it's designed for the global environment. When the technician logs in, they would see their work orders here. There's message board capability to pass information between shifts. So that's pretty much a high-level overview of our product. So in summary, what Proteus MMX allows you to do is turn your data into insight. These are some of the key performance indicators, as an example, that we have in place for different clients. So they can see work types, they can see technicians, they can see different facilities, they can see different cost centers, and it gives them insight. That data gives them the predictability to help them improve overall operations and reduce overall costs of their maintenance system. Any questions from anybody? Just raise your hand, type your question in. We'd be happy to answer them. Okay, so if there are no questions, we thank you very much for your time and attendance today, and please contact us at sales@EagleCMMS, and we'll be happy to assist you and your organization in implementing a quality maintenance package. Thank you very much.